Hello everyone, Fuzzfinger here, and welcome to episode 1 of what is, I'm planning to be, a complete 100% walkthrough for Final Fantasy 15. I've been really excited to get stuck into this one. I hope you guys are going to join me along the way, and don't forget to just hit the like button if you do enjoy these episodes. Post a comment as well, letting me know what you're doing if you're playing along or just watching. So this won't be my first time through the game. You might notice that I've started this one a little bit late. The game was released in December, which is just about a month on from where I am now at the time of recording, but I did want to get somewhat familiar with the game before actually bringing a walkthrough to you. I will admit that in my old age, I'm not as fast as I used to be, and due to the action-oriented combat that Final Fantasy 15 offers, I'm sure you'll be able to put some criticism my way as to how I handle some of these battles. So just forgive me on the reaction side of things. Like I say, I'm getting old now. But I will be giving you all the strategies and whatnot for each of the encounters that need such. So do stick around and let's get on with the game. We are going to be going for a new game from scratch here. There is a new game plus option in Final Fantasy 15. But I don't have a save game on this console. And even if I did, since I'm aiming this to be a walkthrough, I would need to do a new game without the new game plus option anyway. We're going to go for normal difficulty. And then we can actually initiate the tutorial if we want to, which is basically just a combat tutorial showing you how the game functions. If this is your first time playing, then I do recommend that you actually embrace this tutorial and spend some time with it. Because, if you're only used to playing Final Fantasy games of the past, then you are going to find this a little bit different, and at times a little bit confusing in terms of the combat. But I've really come to embrace the gameplay systems in Final Fantasy 15, so I'm going to select no on that now. One of the main downsides that I have towards this game, and I'm going to get this out early on, is the loading times. Now, fortunately, you don't always have to be at the loading screen, but when you are, often you are there for a while. So just bear that in mind as well as we're playing through. But I will try and edit out many of these loading screens in post-production before I put these episodes live. The Tale of the Chosen King. Save you to the start. As always, I will try and keep my mouth shut during the cutscenes. So sit back and enjoy.
Before he strikes again!
Here it comes! I got your back!
Here you go.
Let's go!
So that was a little bit of a confusing scene, but don't worry, later on in the game everything will make sense. Although you probably would have forgotten about it by then.
The decreed hour is come. Set forth with my blessing, Prince Noctis.
Thank you, Your Majesty.
Take your leave and go in the grace of the gods.
Right.
Well, princes will be princes.
So much for royal protocol.
Not like you had to deliver a formal address. Your Highness!
What now?
I fear I have left too much unsaid. You place a great burden on those who would bear with you.
You're one to talk.
I ask not that you guide my wayward son, merely that you remain at his side.
Indeed, Your Grace.
We'll see the Prince to Alticia if it's the last thing we see.
Yeah, what he said.
Hate to break this up, but Kor's got the motor running. Drados, he's in your hands.
And another thing. Do mind your manners around your charming bride-to-be.
Your Majesty as well. Try to mind yours around our esteemed guests from Niflheim.
You have no cause for concern.
Nor do you.
Take heed. Once you set forth, you cannot turn back.
You think I would?
I need only know that you are ready to leave home behind.
Don't know about you, but I'm ready as I'll ever be.
Take care on the long road. Wheresoever you should go, the line of Lucis goes with you. Walk tall, my son.
Right, so we've been introduced to the main characters of the game already. King Regis, of course, is Prince Noctis' father, and he's sending him off on his mission to go and find his bride. Now, one thing I do recommend, if possible, is that you actually watch the movie Kingsglaive before you play this game, because it actually is quite expositional in presenting, you know, backstory on who all these characters are and why it is they're doing what they're doing. And I actually enjoyed the movie, despite the fact that it got pretty much negative reviews all around. I actually thought it was quite enjoyable, and it takes place during the events of, I believe, Chapter 1 and maybe Chapter 2 of the game. So it doesn't really have any spoilers, other than, you know, information on what it is that you really need to know. And it's a shame in many ways that some of this expositional information wasn't included in the game itself. Or it's there, but it's so sparse that, you know, it's not really known if you only just play the game. But anyway, we've been introduced to Noctis and his party members, briefly. And his father, who isn't a playable character in the game. And in fact, Noctis technically is the only playable character. The rest of the party is controlled by the AI, as you're going to see. And here we are, just on the outskirts of Lucis. And it looks like the prince and his
Forget about
comrades.
hitching our way there. Thought people were friendly outside the city.
You can only go so far on the kindness of strangers.
You're just gonna have to push her all the way.
I've already pushed myself to the brink of death.
Get up. Come on, car isn't gonna move itself.
Sheesh. I thought the car was supposed to move us.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Can it? Ready, steady. Push!
So our first task here in the opening section of the game is to push the Regalia, which is Prince Noctis' car. Not something you want to be doing at 8 AM in the morning. You'd think you'd have some breakdown cover or something if you were the prince, but apparently not.
Unbelievable.
Not exactly a fairy tale beginning, huh, Prince Noctis?
We let ourselves get carried away.
Look, these things happen.
Let's just hope this isn't some omen.
Gladio, do me a favor.
What?
Push this thing by yourself.
All by myself?
You won't even notice if we just let go.
Prompto, don't even think about it.
Save some breath for pushing. Ignis, come on, time to switch.
Nah, we just switched back there.
And it's my turn, Noct.
His turn.
Oh, my hands are killing me.
You rather I kill you with mine?
Easy there, tough guy.
Any luck?
Only a busy signal.
Hold the phone. Is it just me? Or was it supposed to be way closer?
I assure you, The map is correct.
The map said Hammerhead was right there.
Literally next door.
Looks that way on a map of the world.
So here we have Noctis on the left-hand side.
The world's a big old place.
Filled with wonders.
Gladiolus pushing from behind.
You guys even pushing?
Prompto was on the right, and then Ignis
Everything I've got.
was the fortunate guy to be steering, sitting down. So Final Fantasy 15 is a big open world game. So in that sense, it's taken a bit of a departure from the earlier games in the series. It does have its linear sections, but mostly, as you're going to see even very shortly, right from the very beginning, it is very much open world. And here's our first main destination that we're visiting. This is Hammerhead.
Hey there, y'all kept a girl waiting. Now, which one's the prince? Aha! Hello, Your Highness. Congrats on your wedding.
Not hitched just yet.
Lady Lunafreya's groom-to-be, here in Hammerhead.
Apologies for taking so long.
You best save your apologies for Pawpaw.
Well, that makes you.
Cindy, Sid's grease monkey granddaughter.
Roll her in while I'm still young. Didn't your daddy tell you? She's a custom classic, not some beat-up old clunker. Prince Noctis.
Yeah.
Prince. Like they took your old man and kicked the dignity out of him.
What?
You got a long way to go, son. And that slackjaw's getting you nowhere fast. She's gonna take a while. Y'all get her in and run along.
Y'all heard him. Let's get moving. Right this way.
Now we play the waiting game.
Never liked that game.
Never any good at it either.
And other than pushing R2 to move the car a few minutes ago, we actually get to control our characters now for the first time. And the first mission seems to be sorting out the car, since without wheels in this game you don't get very far. Okay, a lot of time playing Final Fantasy 15 is spent driving the car. So first thing we're going to have to do is figure out how we're going to get it fixed. Maybe we've got some money, maybe we haven't.
Oh, hey there, Prince. Y'all ain't never been out this way before, have you? Go on, have a look around. This'll make sure y'all don't get lost.
Well, might as well make good use of the extra time.
And we get introduced to tipsters, which are basically...
Whoa, they got Ebony out here. Oh, Ignis is gonna flip.
Basically the
what's the
guys that control the diners. So we're going to head over now to the diner and speak to the tipster.
Gil says there's a city car in the garage.
And these are the guys with the knife and fork symbol over their head, so you can't really miss them.
Welcome.
And we're going to, for now, use the talk option.
Y'all hungry for info?
When you do so for the first time, they're going to put some positions or markers on the map for you. Obviously all these places are here anyway, and you can visit them anyway, just by, you know, discovering them out in the open world. But sometimes it's nice to know where you're going. and you can eat in Final Fantasy
Too young,
15.
got an appetite.
Doing so actually gives you a temporary buff. But at the moment, as you can see, we have no gil, which means we're going to have to go hungry for the time being. And the third option, which I didn't select, is something a little bit different, and I will show you all about it in a few minutes.
Want to go check it out?
What is it?
Items that you can loot off the ground in this game are generally seen by little flashes of colour, such as this flashy blue item here. Important item and quest items are generally known by their yellow or reddish hue rather than blue. So let's go ahead and speak to Cindy here.
Russian Pawpaw won't do you no good.
Who doesn't seem to have too much to say. So let's go into the shop here.
You see this, Noct?
What about it?
Well, howdy.
So you get shops littered all over the place at the outposts and other locations, etc. And it's your traditional Final Fantasy shop, so you get to buy your potions and your high potions and everything else that I'm sure you're all familiar with.
A moment, Noct. We've expended the last of our funds on the repairs. I suggest we confer with Cindy.
Broken down and flat broke.
Adding insult to injury.
And here we have our first quest, our first story quest, known as the Pauper Prince. So story quests are given to us in this red text, and side quests and other quests are given to us in, well, other coloured text, such as yellow text and blue text.
Old man's in for both after charging us that much.
Yeah, let's pay him a visit.
So Sid, who we were just introduced to, is the owner of the Hammerhead Garage.
Huh?
And the quest is telling us we need to consult with Cindy. So we'll go ahead and do that. There's a definite MMO feel to this game, by the way. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. But, you know, it's there. Especially as we do some of the side quests later on. They've definitely taken some influence, I would say, from the MMO genre. But we'll go ahead now and speak to Cindy and see about fixing the regalia.
She ain't gonna be ready for a while. Y'all need something?
So here we get introduced to dialogue options, and we can do anything we want. I'm going to go ahead and ask my friends here.
We're strapped for cash. Any way we could earn a little?
Oh, now I get it. This must be what Pawpaw meant when he said he was gonna teach them boys a lesson. Told me he ought to have y'all take care of some ornery varmints that have been causing a ruckus around here. I'd be happy to pay y'all for your services if you're up to the challenge. How about it?
Old man's got his eye on you, Noct. Show him what you got.
So we collect 10 AP for choosing that dialogue option, and in fact, in this case, it doesn't matter what you choose, you get the same reward. So you can see our AP is 10 now in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen above the amount of time we've played, and the whole of our party is level 1, which makes sense, we haven't killed anything yet. So levelling in this game works a little bit differently. In fact, a lot of the game systems in this game work differently than what you're probably used to from previous games in the franchise. But we'll explore them as we get to them. For now, all we need to know is that when we collect experience from killing monsters and completing quests, and however else we get experience in this game, there's multiple ways of doing so, it won't automatically be added to our levels. In fact, we have to rest or sleep for all the experience we've gathered in a particular session to be tallied up, which is an interesting way of doing things actually, and it allows us further means of increasing our experience through where we rest and what food we eat and other things like that. But I won't get too far ahead in confusing anybody just yet. So for now, that's just basically all we need to know. We can access the map here as well, which I'm assuming is taking place on Noctis's phone or something, due to the electronic nature of being able to select things. And as you can see, we've just explored this tiny little patch here where we push the car into Hammerhead. And these campgrounds here are places where we can rest. And also, as we collect quests, they too will be added on to the map. For example, we have the Pauper Prince here, showing us where we need to go.
Don't go running around after dark. The demons are liable to rip y'all to shreds. Here, this ought to be enough for a place to stay. Just between us, though. Don't tell Pawpaw.
So we've collected our first 1,000 gil here, and as Cindy just warned us, we do not want to be venturing around at the moment at night time because of special enemies known as demons, and there's lore behind them which we'll get into a little bit later in the story. But for now, all we need to know is they're super powerful. They generally don't come out during the day, and they're about level 30 plus, which means that we would pretty much get owned by them if we encounter them. So for now, we're going to only do our work during the day, and then we'll be resting when night time comes. I've already mentioned there's a whole bunch of side quest content in this game, and that can actually start straight away. So we're going to head back to the tipster here and talk to him.
What can I do you for?
We've already looked at speaking and eating, although we could perhaps choose some food to eat here. We could spend 700 gil and get all these buffs and increase his attack, maximum health and recovery rate. These are temporary buffs, by the way. Or we could just go for the 50 gil option, which gives us a little bit of stat increase, but not as much. Okay, just had to take a slight pause then while I went and answered the door, but we're going to go ahead and go for this delicious looking chili con carne. So we'll spend 50 of our 1,000 gil.
Oh yeah, here it comes.
So all the food in this game is photorealistic, and it's going to buff us up. You can see the buff icons have appeared in each character's XP bar. And Ignis here is our cook, so when we're out camping he can actually cook these recipes for us, so long as we actually have the ingredients for him to do so. And as we eat different foods and generally do stuff, he is going to learn new recipes with all new buffs for us to accumulate, some of which become extraordinarily powerful. And we're also going to go ahead and select our first hunt. Hunts are basically little mini quests that require us to go and defeat a monster or group of monsters of some kind for gil and other rewards. So we're going to go ahead and select this Howling Wind of Hunger, and you can also see where it says active to the right of the wanted poster when these hunts are available. So this one, Howling Wind of Hunger, is available at all times. This one's available only during the day, all times, and then Raindrops in the Night is, as the name might suggest, only available during night time. So that one's going to be a little bit more dangerous because the demons will also be roaming around the place. You can also see the rewards that you collect. So by completing this one, the Howling Winds of Hunger, we will get 740 gil and a high elixir. So hunts are a great way to accumulate gil.
You boys are a brave bunch.
One small downside to this game is that you can only track one quest at any one time. So right now we're tracking the side quest, which means we can't see exactly where we need to go for our story quest. And That's not always a problem, but sometimes when the quests are close together, it's a bit annoying to not realise that fact and completely, you know, run away once doing one quest without completing the other that was in the same area, then having to come back later. But you can choose which quest you want to track from the quest menu here. So right now we're tracking the hunt, but we could also track the story quest instead if we wish to do so. You can hold the circle button down to sprint, and that reminds me, we just need to head over to the options menu here and make a few changes to the interface which I prefer. So just let me have a look down here. Combat, we're going to set to wait. The default is active, and that will just give us time to Libra our enemies and also to select our targets and our next actions. And if we just head down to perhaps camera. Okay, I'm going to okay, leave the camera. The mini-map, I personally prefer to have the rotation off on the mini-map. Although that is obviously a personal preference. That's just always how I prefer to have those maps in my games. And stamina, we're going to have on. And that'll do for the time being, I think. That'll just mean now you can see the stamina bar. So you know how much sprint we have left in us. And there's a little trick as well, which I'll just show you before we get into anything.
Sometimes I wonder if we'll ever sit inside that beautiful car again.
See how I just refilled my stamina bar then instantly?
Pretty nice.
You can do that if you're holding down the circle key to sprint. Then as you're on the letters, quickly depress and repress the button. And it will reset your stamina bar so that you can effectively sprint for an unlimited amount of duration. If you mess it up for whatever reason, then you'll just have to wait for it to fill up manually. So let's go ahead and take on our first enemies here, and we're going to start with our engine blade. You can switch which weapon you want to use at any time during battle from the quick menu options down the left hand side here, and you can also go into the main menu and actually unequip weapons and equip other weapons at any time, even during combat. Now that green bar above the Libra wording on the left is the technique bar. I forgot what it was called then, and that will allow us to perform various techniques with our allies once it's filled up, and various techniques require 1, 2 or 3 of those bars to be filled. And then Libra, which I believe is only active in wait mode, is pretty much Final Fantasy stuff that lets you, you know, learn about your enemies, etc, etc. But right now for this quest we've got to go ahead and kill 7 saber tusks. So let's do so. We can see by using Libra here what they are weak to, and purple is what you want to hit, orange is what you want to avoid. So without any further ado, let's warp strike and get into our first battle. Get some tips here because it is the first time we're battling. Basically you want to hold circle down to attack, and you can also hold square down if you want to block, and then you can parry as well, just like that.
You rang?
Guns up.
So some enemies you have to be really quick to parry, others not so much. And you can warp strike. Most of your abilities such as warp strike etc consume MP, which is something that only Noctis has. The others don't have MP, the other party members. And if you run out of MP, you basically go into status state, which you want to avoid, but you can actually recover MP by taking cover. And we've got one more to go, so let's go and finish it off. A nice easy battle to start off with. The whole blocking and parrying will take some practice, but the general rule is you can block at any time you want to by holding square down, but you can only parry if you've blocked when the square icon has previously come up, followed then by the circle icon for the parry.
Oh yeah!
So there we have our first bit of XP, experience. But we won't be able to use that until we've rested, as I previously mentioned. And we've also collected some more AP. AP is used to basically purchase new abilities in the Ascension trees, which if you've ever played Final Fantasy X and have experienced the sphere grids, this is somewhat similar, but it's also a little bit different. As you can see, there's various trees. We're going to start by concentrating on the exploration tree. The reason being for that is that a lot of these, even though they don't increase our actual party power, they do allow us to gain extra AP and XP for doing various things. And we basically need as much AP as possible, so we do just need to sacrifice a little bit of party power here in the early game in order to, in the long haul, be getting more AP. So, there we go. But you can also have a look around the other trees if you want to do so. And gear, we'll just have a quick look and glance at the gear options. These are the quick slots that you can put your weapons into, or spells if you want to cast magics. And some weapons will actually boost your stats while they're equipped, even if they're not selected. So you should always keep these with as many weapons as possible. And then we have the accessories slot down here. And we actually have a bunch of accessories as part of the DLC, even the free DLC. So if you haven't downloaded that, I highly recommend that you do so in order to start the game with these accessories, which are basically there to just help you out with various AP gaining and whatnot. And these accessories all work as well when your party members have them equipped. So for example, we can give Gladiolus here the Ring of Resistance, which protects the party from friendly fire, and it doesn't have to go on Noctis. So the Nexperience band actually stops you from levelling up, so if you want to do a challenge game and remain at level 1, then you'll be equipping this. We won't be doing that on this playthrough, but who knows what the future may hold. We don't yet have Armiger. I won't go much into that at the moment to avoid spoilers, but equipping this for the time being would be completely pointless. What we are interested in is all of these that give us additional AP for high ratings in battle. So we're going to go for the Warriors Fanfare, the Blitzers Fanfare, and the Tacticians Fanfare. And I do recommend these over the Key of Prosperity because I just think AP is far more valuable even than items, especially early on in the game when we want to get as many abilities as possible. So we'll go ahead and throw those on. We can now head back to the tipster, and later on we'll be able to fast travel back to wherever our car is. But since it's currently up for repair, we cannot do that at the moment. So we're going to have to run back, stretch the legs. Just reset that stamina bar there. So much of the game, especially the first 12 chapters, well actually less than that, I think the first 9 chapters are going to be not just doing story content, but a whole bunch of optional content, which, although technically is optional, if you completely ignore the optional content, then you're going to be severely underpowered and underleveled to take on the main story content.
After his son's accident, I never imagined the old man would keep the place running.
So we'll come and tell this guy that we've killed the monsters that he wanted eradicating.
Y'all did good.
And as you can see, we're going to get 1 star. It says in the top right hand corner, 1 out of 5. As we complete hunts, we'll get stars, and that will boost up our hunter rank, which will allow us to take on stronger hunts at various locations. And as you can see, our gil has also increased from 950 to 1690 due to the bounty reward here. And we collected a high elixir as well, which is a nice item. If for whatever reason you want to fight the enemies again, you can complete hunts that you've already done.
Here been a real pain in the rear.
The ones with the tick symbol, obviously, are the ones you've done, and you can select them again, although the reward is generally a lot less. But you can repeat them as many times over as you wish to do so. So now we're going to go ahead and select the Varmints of the Wastelands, which is a level 5 hunt.
Appreciate.
So it's going to be a little bit harder than the previous one. But if we just open our map here, we can see where we need to go. And before we head over to that, we're going to have a go at the Pauper Prince. Since it's a little bit closer, as you can see, the waypoint marker is the same direction, but a little bit closer to us, so it makes sense to do it on the way.
Gladio, come on!
Gotcha.
And we can see there's 3 mobs wandering the area.
Looks like we found
And look at the quest we have to do. Eliminate the pests, 0 of 3. Kind of makes sense.
Targets. Ready, Noct?
That this is the quest objective. And we get some more combat information there. And we can just defend against 3 attacks here.
The best offense.
So try and get some aggro. Try not to kill these actually, because we won't do this little side quest, which should give us, I think, AP maybe. So that's why I'm not killing them just yet.
Not dead what they're up against.
You said it.
I won't parry.
You might be able to counter if you started parrying.
Oops, we've done it. Okay, so now we can kill them. So we've got a nice free AP for that. And now we can fight as normal.
Take cover and rest up.
So we've now entered status ability.
Excellent work.
But fortunately we've killed those enemies. And in fact, that was just the first of 3 pests we've eliminated. So it's talking about groups more than anything. By the way, Warp Strike you can also do to high locations, although I can't find an exact example at the moment. You don't have to do it into enemies. You can just generally do it, look, and move around. Although it does deplete your MP, so just bear that in mind. So we can see where we need to head to next is over here. And let's just compare that to the side quest here that we're also doing. So we'll go ahead and do the story quest first, I think. The second set of pests anyway. And then maybe we'll attempt to take on those level 5 hunt monsters. And even though we're killing monsters here, we're still going to be stuck at level 1 until we rest and our XP is tallied. But we do have this buff food as well. So there's the information on how to warp strike.
Hey, no! Warp strike!
And there we have success. Another 3 AP.
You're on fire today!
What can I say?
Get lost!
And we're in status here, which means that we can replenish our MP now if we want to. Maybe I'll just show you. Oops. By point warping. There we go.
That's crossing the line.
And there we have the second of 3 mob groups depleted and defeated.
Let's get on with it.
And we have a nice 26 AP. So, next we need to head over to this side, which means that we should just probably take a quick detour and take on the hunt quest here.
So, where are we headed anyway?
Nowhere until the repairs are done.
It's a little bit of a run.
The golden key.
Then after that, we hop a boat, and before you know it, Loverboy's hitched.
Wait for car repairs, then wedding bells in the air. Got it.
So I did miss my stamina instant recharge there because I was concentrating on the dialogue. So we need to kill 5 Mesmeniers here. See, these guys have substantial.
Try to hit him from behind!
Don't get behind side links by attacking
Wanna team up? Stay close.
the enemy from the side. I mean from behind rather than from in front. Although they do generally like to follow Noctis around.
Now it's time to go to town. Give him hell, Noct!
If you can knock an enemy over, it enters the vulnerability state. Which means that it's not going to attack you. And it will take more damage.
Here I am! Chop chop!
How about this?
So these level 5 monsters are certainly proving their level. And we've managed to defeat the first one.
No big deal.
I need to position my microphone a little bit better after this fight because I can't actually see my party's health bars or MP bars. If I stretch my head I can see that we're just starting to run low on MP here.
I've got the chance.
So can we warp strike anywhere? This is where weight becomes somewhat useful. Usually there's a warp strike point around, but it doesn't look like there is in this case. We can throw items on as well if we want to recover health. But I don't particularly want to do that at the moment. There's the warp point. So we'll replenish our health here. Just keep an eye as well on Promptos. And you can see that we've got these technique abilities here, so we might as well start using them. And we can begin here with Gladiolus's Tempest, which is basically a damage attack.
Sorry!
Get lost! A couple of blind sides as well. Sometimes fighting in bushes can be a bit of a pain. Can't always see exactly what it is you're doing. But just keep an eye out for the buttons to smash, defense, etc. So Prompto's running a little bit low on health. We'll throw a potion onto him.
Got it!
How are we?
Getting by.
And Noctis is also running a little bit low, but I'm pretty sure we'll be alright to get through this.
On top of it!
We're in status once more, so let's just head back over. We'll replenish our MP here. You can also replenish your health, by the way, if you take cover. So if we just Libra, we can get the enemy's weaknesses. And we can see they're strong to great sword, so we won't be using the two-handed sword here. And they're also strong against daggers. So we'll stick with our one-handed engine blade, I think, for the time being. And then we can use Prompto's Piercer, which does lower the defense of the enemy.
Nice one, Prompto. It's nothing.
Definitely can cheer. Any ideas? Anyone?
Try and get around this guy. Get some of those blind side links in.
Count on it.
Watch out!
Gladio, do it! Nice work, Gladio.
There's number 2 finished off, but the others are on low health as well.
Yep.
You can also break the horns of these guys, I think, if you target them. And that gives you extra loot as well. Down goes number 3. So you don't have to do this hunt right now. You can rest up and try and level up first. You can also create link strikes through the parry system.
On top of it!
Down the next one goes, and one more here just to finish off, and we are done. You can see on the health, especially at Noctis' health at the moment, how when it's full, it's a white bar, but then as it depletes, it turns into a grey bar. That's actually still his health, the grey bar. And if you use potions, that's what can fill up again. But certain enemies, especially demons, can deplete even that grey bar of health, and that means that potions won't do you any good.
I'm dying of thirst here.
I'm starving.
And we've got from, I think it was 14 AP to a nice 32 there.
Yet we're all very much alive.
So, very good amount to gather. We'll once again target the Pauper Prince, and although it's a little bit, tiresome having to run around for the time being, we are going to gain other methods of travel shortly, in particular the car, and then after that also the, well, I don't want to spoil other forms of travel for right now, but if you played Final Fantasy before, you can probably have a good stab in the dark at what some of those will be. And as you can see, we're getting a little bit close to night time here. It's now 5 o'clock. So there's a couple of things that I do want to do. But before we rest, I'm going to risk heading over to the final quest area here. Well, the final of the 3 pests that we need to eliminate, pest groups. But they shouldn't take as long as the previous group of monsters.
Man, it's hot.
Then lose the jacket. Almost there. Give it your all.
The hunt is on.
Watch this!
Doesn't look like there's going to be any little bit of optional AP to gather here. If you want to get an A rating in Finesse for the extra AP, then you need to be doing a lot of blindsides, which is attacking the enemy from behind.
How about this?
Nice. Mission complete.
Who could this be? Hello?
Hey, it's Cindy. How goes the hunting?
Actually, we just finished.
That's great, 'cause I got one more hunt for y'all. Only this time, it's for a person. Fella named Dave went off, and we ain't heard from him since. Reckon he staked out a spot in an old shack nearby.
Old shack? Oh, got it. We'll take a look.
So the quest is very kindly automatically updated for us.
Needs us to find some Dave guy.
He went missing?
Not missing. Said he's holed up in that shack.
So we need to head over to this shack over here. And see if we can find this Dave fella.
What's this?
Knocked! Get out of here!
Well, these don't look like Dave's to me.
We are now.
But it does look like another battle. So we have some level 2 enemies here to quickly take care of.
Try this!
It's nice that we can make short work of these. It's a little bit harder to fight in an enclosed area.
What?
My hand slipped.
We all good?
Better than good.
Hey, what about the shack over there?
So we actually have another shack to head to now to try and find good old Dave. But it is starting to get a little bit dark here, so I do think we should take a brief detour and get some rest. So I'm going to hit the square button to mark this place on our map, this camp that we're heading to that's 400 feet away. And then we'll spend the night before actually continuing on with Hunter Becomes the Hunted. But this will also tally up the experience that we've gathered up until this point as well. Now, just before we go ahead and rest, I'm going to see if we can use our Elemency. So we can actually draw magics, mostly from around campsites, but also other parts of the world. And we can turn these magics into magic that we can actually cast. You can see it on the map. You generally get them all together. There's the ice magic and the fire magic over here, and the lightning magic. The more you get, the stronger spells you can make, although you can only hold a maximum stock of 99 of each magic. And these do replenish, but not straight away. And now, because it's just about to turn into the danger time, we're going to go and head over and rest. And make our first camp.
Ugh, I'm all sticky and gross.
Woohoo! About time!
So we can see the name of the camp that we're resting at. Gladiolus will do the honours of actually pitching the tent. I've never pitched a tent into solid rock, but apparently, look, it can be done. Yeah, he's very proud of that job, isn't he? He's like, look at my tent. Bit of product placement for Coleman there as well. You'll find that all throughout this game. All the camping stuff is Coleman. And here's the stuff that Ignis can cook for us. Flame roasted toast is what you choose when you have no money at all, because, or ingredients at all, sorry, because it doesn't need anything. But we can also choose some of these other options as well. The veggie medley stew will boost up our health as well as our attack. And the burley bean bowl is Prompto's favourite dish. Or we can go for the pizza, which also doesn't require any ingredients and gives us a nice boost to our attack, but we do need level 10 for that. So for now I think we'll just go for the stew. No, we'll go for the... I don't know if we're going to get to level 3. So we'll go for the stew and risk at least getting the attack. So Ignis will cook us the nice meal. And now our experience for the first time is going to be tallied for us. And we've got 315. Every time you level up, by the way, you also gain AP, which is useful to know, as well as boosts to your other stats as well, of course. And we are level 3 now, which means we do get the health boost as well from that stew. And each character has their own skill which they're proficient in. Fishing for Noctis, we haven't done any fishing, so he hasn't leveled that up at all. Survival for Gladiolus, which is basically items from monsters. He's the one that picks them up. And the higher his survival skill, the better items you can get. And then Ignis, of course, does the cooking for us. As he levels up, he'll be able to become more proficient in better recipes. And Prompto, well, we haven't experienced this yet, but he's going to be taking plenty of photos for us throughout our gaming journey. Speaking of which, here's some of the photos he has shot for us anyway, already. A shot here of Noctis being lazy. We can even save them if we want to. Yeah.
Perfect timing.
Hey, this one's pretty good.
I know. I dig it too.
So there'll be plenty of opportunities to save some awesome photos as we go through. Some of them will be quite funny as well. Many of them will be unique to your own playthrough as well, so they won't be the same as what we get.
Would hate to try and pull off a road trip like this in some old jalopy.
Oh yeah, that would definitely cramp my style.
We can't live like kings, but we can travel like them.
I'd have been cool with a plain old car.
Why's that?
Not into the prince's procession thing.
Oh, you want to lay low.
Don't see why the car would be an issue. You managed to keep a low profile in the backseat.
Isn't it about time you made some headlines?
Rather be in the obituaries.
The game does auto-save for you, but I'm going to go ahead here and save into a manual file as well. The first two files here are auto-save, so you can't overwrite those. So we'll be starting with save file number 3, and this is what we'll be saving through as we go through the game manually. 56 minutes in already, wow. And we'll go ahead and take care of these saber tusks, which are just blocking our quest area here.
Never miss!
And hopefully we'll find this Dave fella then.
Not the time for horseplay!
Didn't mean to do that.
Hey, look over there.
They can't stop me.
Hey, who's out there? Well, and look who's in here. The man of the hour. Dave, right? Been looking for you.
Didn't mean to cause y'all any trouble. I've been stuck here on account of my sprained ankle. Yeah, something funny about them varmints. I gave them hell, but couldn't finish the job. Still one mean mutt about. Well, y'all don't look much like hunters, but what do you say? Put that puppy to rest for me?
Oh, sounds too dangerous to be let alone. Tell us where to go.
Y'all got guts, that's for sure. Let me tell you where I last saw 'em.
The people are at risk, Noct. You have a royal duty to ensure their safety.
Right, so I chose to ask our friends that dialogue option, which gave Ignis 150 experience.
It would be wise to rest up before we set out.
But you could also do it for free, and that gives every member of your party 30 experience.
Just remember, confidence will only take you so far.
Or you could select to do it for a price, and that would give you 2 AP. So as the game has just warned us, we've got a formidable foe ahead of us. So if you haven't rested already up until this point, then now would be a great time to do so before we begin the Mutant Marauder. So in order to prepare for this next part of the quest, we're going to do some optional tasks, which will involve running around a little bit, unfortunately. And one of the things we are going to do, now that we've got some gil, is just head back to Hammerhead in order to pick up on some items that we're going to need for some quests and whatnot. I probably should have purchased these before we set out, but it's not going to matter too much anyway. And you can get enemies randomly appear as you're running around, so just be prepared for that. And remember your stamina trick so that you don't spend a lot of the journey having to wait for it to refill while you're travelling along at a snail's pace. So already, even though we're in the opening moments, I suppose, really, of the game, you can see the open nature, endedness style of it. Although, as I said, fortunately, the game, as we progress, does give us means of speeding things up in terms of travel.
There's only so far a man can walk. Our Crown City upbringing didn't prepare us for this.
It's probably no secret that we're shortly going to get the car repaired, and then we can drive around on the roads at least with that. What we can also do is just change some of the outfits that our team are wearing, and that will actually boost some of our stats, or change some of our stats depending on how we do it. So as you can see, if we take the jacket off Noctis here, his strength will increase, although his health will decrease. Or we can wear the festive ensemble if we want to look a bit silly, and that will just boost our MP, but we're going to go for no jacket and really just boost our defence there. And we can do the same for the others as well. So since we've got the health buff, I don't think it hurts just lowering our hit point totals a little bit here in order to boost our strength.
Let's hit up the shop.
Sounds reasonable enough.
So there's various different side quests available in this game, many of which are quick and just involve giving the NPC that's the point of the side quest an item of some kind. Now, those items are generally potions and antidotes, and also repair kits. So repair kits are items solely used in a special type of side quest known as the broken car side quests. So you basically just want to stock up on as many of these as you can. We'll start with getting 5 because they are 100 gil each.
Much appreciated.
And then as we get more gil, we'll work on purchasing more, because 5 is not going to be enough. You can buy ingredients for cooking as well from these shops. And we also need to get some antidotes and potions. So we'll purchase 6 potions. And at 10 gil a pop, we'll just go for 9. Antidotes. You'll notice as well that you can also purchase elixirs and high elixirs. They're a little bit expensive for us at the minute, but later on, the ability to buy these particular healing items is going to be life-saving, literally. And we're also going to go and speak to the tipster here. I haven't got the hunt selected as the quest that we're tracking, but if you remember, we did kill those level 5 enemies, so we're going to go and tell this guy that we've done that.
Sid's friends, was it? No surprises.
And we get another high elixir reward there, along with a bunch of gil and another hunter star. So we could go ahead and select another hunt here.
Take your pick.
But the next one isn't really going to be easy for us to do at the moment because it's level 7, so we're just going to ignore it for the time being. It's not going anywhere, and then a little bit later on we can come back and do it. And now the running is going to commence, because there's a couple of side quests which we can't track since we haven't actually collected them. They're kind of things that you do at the time as you find them. But they will give us a nice bit of boost to our experience. I do want to go ahead and get them done. And the first one is going to be located in this area here, around this kind of map point marker that I've selected. So we're just going to follow the road in order to reach that.
feels so sluggish.
I mean, we could just run through the desert here because it won't hurt if we do encounter monsters and we can get items to loot as we do so. Since this game is very much about exploring, it's important that we get used to it right from the start.
I'm going all out.
Just don't get too carried away.
And we've got some more saber tusks here to fight. They do seem highly susceptible to these, or to this fast one-handed weapon here.
Yep.
But just to show you how to switch weapons, you just do that, and now you can see I'm using my two-handed high damage weapon.
None the worse for wear.
Bring on the next one.
And very soon I'm going to have a look at spending some of this AP that we've collected. In fact, I'm going to do so now. So if we head over to the exploration tree, the first points we're going to spend are our AP 71. And if you don't have this much AP at the minute, then, you know, don't worry, just purchase these when you can, really. We're going to go for Happy Camping, which increases our AP gained from making camp. As you can see, we're going to need 20 AP for that. And then we're going to spend 48 AP on boosting that even further. So now every time we make camp, this doesn't work if we stay in caravans or hotels, but when we actually make camp, then we'll gain AP for doing so. Not too shabby at all. And we're just going to continue on running to our next destination here, which is the side quest I want to show you. I've messed up on the stamina bar. Let's try that again. There we go. And it's the broken down car side quest. There's going to be many of these littered throughout the world map.
Beautiful.
And I wouldn't normally go completely out the way to do them, but seeing as how we've just started the game and we do need some early XP boosts, then I am going to be prepared to do a little bit more travelling right now. 800 feet away, eh? And I'm thinking as well, I'm probably going to start editing the actual travel times down for you guys so that you can just see, you know, the main point of what we're doing without actually watching the run to get there. Anyway, we've just about arrived, and what we're looking for is a car.
Beautiful day. Totally.
And I think I can just about see it up over this hill here. And here we have our first broken down car. So we just speak to the guy.
Oh, thank goodness you're here. My car is stuck.
And for these quests, we just need to give the driver one of the repair kits that we purchased. So make sure you're fully stocked up on them. You can still pick the quest up if you don't have them, but obviously it's better just to pick the quest up and hand it straight in.
What a relief. Thank you.
Ooh, that couldn't have gone any better.
And look at that 300 XP. And a bunch of gil as well. Very nice. Right now, I'm just running back to Hammerhead, and we're going to do something a little bit peculiar. We're going to rest quite a few times, and the reason being is that it's going to maximise our XP gain. So we're going to begin by resting at the caravan here, because this will give us more experience.
Sounds reasonable enough.
Than resting at a campsite. And we have got a nice bit of experience from the quest we've just done. So as you can see, we get 20% more experience here, but we do have to spend 30 gil.
It's kind of early, isn't it?
Nah, it's cool.
So we're just going to get through the scenes here. They like to play cards and stuff when they're camping. You know, doing what lads do. Ignis is like, ooh, a proper kitchen. I mean, some of the dishes they cook when they're camping, I'd love to know how that's even possible. But anyway. So our XP totals when we hit the next button are about to have 20% added to them. And we've gained 2 more levels. And look, we can have a picture of Noctis kind of just floating in the air. I know he was jumping, but he looks like he was floating.
This one's pretty good. I know. I dig it too.
And now we're going to actually head over to a campsite. In particular, this campsite. And stay there. Now, the reason we've done it this way is because staying at a campsite won't give you XP. Well, as in it won't give you an XP bonus. So it's just the 20% we got from staying at that caravan. But we need to stay at this campsite.
Gladio, come on.
Gotcha.
Because it will kick off another side quest known as a tour. Which is a one-time quest. So there's 2 tours we can do at the minute. Try and get some blind sides in here if possible. These critters are pretty fast, it's got to be said.
The master tactician strikes again.
To the vengeance. Be done.
By the way, if ever you struggle with combat,
I'll say I'm amazed.
or just want to practice, you can always access the combat tutorial from the menu at any time. And is there any elements around here for us to draw? There should be. I can see a fire node over here. And now we're actually maxed on our fire, so we do need to turn that into magic so that we can draw the rest. If you head down to the Elemency menu here, then you can see that we've got 99 fires. As in, on the left hand side I'm talking about 99 fire minerals, which we need to turn into fire magic. And that 99 determines the potency of the magic itself. Now we've already got 3 fire magic here, so I'm actually not going to make any more at this particular moment in time. What we are going to do is equip that fire magic, I think. So we head back to Elemency, and we'll put it on the bottom here where Noctis doesn't have anything equipped. And then we can head over to the lightning node and make some thunder magic. Or blizzard. Whatever we want to do. Ice energy is full. Let's go ahead and make some ice magic. So I can show you how to do this. We'll choose an empty flask. And we can collect magic flasks as we go through our journey, which allow us to stock up more magic. And we're going to choose the maximum potency here. We can also throw in an item for additional effects or strengths. I mean, if we use a Phoenix down, then our blizzard actually becomes Tricast Blizzarar, which is of even higher potency. Or we can use ingredients as well. But for now, we'll just go for, I think, basic magic. I'm just trying to come out of this here. It seems to definitely want to throw the Phoenix down on us, which is a bit annoying, so we'll have to just try that again. And this time we won't select an item. We'll just go to craft. And then we can equip that on a character, or just store it in a flask, which we're going to do for the time being. We'll grab the rest of the ice magic here so we can start replenishing our supply. And we'll also go and grab the lightning magic, although we can't grab all of this because both our flasks are full now. But the main reason we're here is to stay at this camp, because that will kick off the tour side quest.
And here we are.
Let's call it a day.
I'll see.
And as you can see, we collected 3 AP there because we boosted how much AP we get from camping. Once again, we get to select our food. And we're not level 10 yet, so having the pizza is probably actually the best choice, because we are going to be doing some sprinting in a moment after this tour in order to camp again. So obviously we didn't get much experience that time because we just tallied that up at the caravan. And here is our first tour, which can only occur at this particular campsite.
Moment, Noct.
Yeah.
And it's a tour involving
Use your
Ignis.
help in the morning.
Me and mornings don't usually get along.
Might if you help me make breakfast.
So we'll accept this quest, which is going to involve helping Ignis.
Tomorrow it is. The key is to let the pot simmer without ever letting it burn.
How do I do that?
A few stirs here and there should suffice.
So this side quest basically involves a bit of a mini game. And we need to stir the pot with the left analog stick.
When's the last time you cooked anything?
And
too long ago to
you'll probably hear me frantically doing what it tells us to do here.
But even back then, I was pretty much just winging it.
Hardly what I'd call
so,
cooking, I imagine.
A nice easy way to actually wear out your analog stick.
Well, let's see how things are stewing. Could use just a touch longer to thicken, if you don't mind.
Ultimately, it doesn't actually matter how well you do at this mini game, because the reward is identical, even if Ignis says you've done a poor job.
Oh, I was only hoping to have a fireside chat. See what's got you stewing.
So you cooked up this little pretense. All these years. Never stopped worrying about me.
My royal duty, per His Majesty.
Your hobby.
Now then, time for the taste test. Looks done to a turn. Excellent work. Taste for yourself? Sweet are the fruits of one's own labor.
Yep, I'm proud of that dish.
You must be eager to learn more of the culinary arts.
Actually, I'm eager to leave the cooking to you.
My half-baked scheme, up in smoke. How did you fancy returning to the stove?
Now, you don't get experience
Not so bad every once in a while.
from completing a tour.
Not first thing in the morning.
No. The world at dawn is full of wonders.
Yeah, can't wait to marvel at them all.
Dawn tomorrow?
I'll marvel at my own pace.
But what you do generally get is a whole bunch of AP.
You were a big help.
Yeah, I'm good like that.
Right.
20 AP you get for doing a tour. That brings our total back up to 69 there. And we're going to go straight on ahead and do another tour now. There's still one more available. It's a bit of a run, unfortunately, and it's at a campsite which the tipster hasn't marked on our map, but it's just here, so I'm going to mark it. And it's 0.47 miles away, so I'll catch you once we've reached the destination. Here we are at that campsite that I showed you just to the side of this large structure here. And once again, it's just a matter of camping and the tour will kick off.
It's cool.
Ignis is once again going to want to cook for us. Let's just go for the pizza. And we are starting to level our skills up already, which is nice to see. And as you can tell, this tour involves prompto.
Hey, Noctis. I've got this thing. Be a pal and come with me tomorrow morning. Pretty please.
All right. Don't need to beg.
Woo! Yes! I owe you one. For now, let's hit the hay.
Right, so this tour is known as the Hallowed Hill of Hammerhead.
So, what is this thing you've got anyway?
And it involves a bit of a long run.
It's not a thing. It's a picture.
Uh-huh.
In honor of the grease monkey goddess.
Uh-huh? Who?
Cindy! I want to express my love on film.
Dude.
No, not like a stalker or something. Just an innocent display of affection.
Innocent.
So, first we find a spot overlooking Hammerhead. Then we bow our heads in deference to the garage of our goddess.
You want to go all the way to the garage? Why don't you just ask her for a picture?
No way! That would be creepy.
Can't believe you woke me up early for this.
We are on hallowed ground, Noctis. And if you don't start showing some proper respect, you're gonna have a bad time.
Yeah. Wouldn't want that.
Right, so this quest involves prompto, getting a picture of the lady that he fancies, and in order to do this, we just run to this marker here.
All right, photo boy. Make it snappy.
I got this. Whew. First, to pay my respects. Oh, great garage, home to our goddess of the gears. Thank you.
That the prince I see?
Cindy?
You're not supposed to.
Just on one of my early morning hikes. Girls gotta stay fit, you know. Ain't it beautiful up here? One of my favorite spots. What are y'all doing here?
Us all? Oh, yeah, well, you see...
Looks like you could use a hand.
You're... What are you trying to make me say?
Didn't quite catch that. Anyhow, I better skedaddle. See y'all later.
Noct! No! You scared her away!
Yeah. My bad. I was just trying to...
Okay, so it doesn't actually matter what option you choose there. Once again,
we'll
you'll still
get it
get the
right
AP
next time.
reward
Won't be
afterwards.
next time.
Nah, that's what you always say.
And now we're going to basically start heading to our quest destination. Although there's a couple of side quests that we can still do on the way. They are actually close to the actual quest itself, so we're just going to start heading in that general direction. By the way, if you eat the pizza, you get unlimited stamina, and you can just push the left analog stick button in, and then you'll run automatically without having to hold the circle key down.
Knocked.
Yep. Nothing to it.
I'm just going to take a quick detour to past Hammerhead so that I can get my bearings. We're going to continue spending some of our AP here on more, well, AP boosting abilities. So if we head back over to the exploration tree, we're just going to purchase Aftertaste, because extending the status time, the status boost from food is not actually too bad. But on top of that, we can actually then go ahead and learn Appetize, which is an AP boosting ability. And we're also going to go and purchase Road Running. Even though we don't have the car yet, we will be getting it in the near future. So we can go ahead and pick that up right now. These experience ones, you don't need to be in a rush to get those, because the experience you get from these skills, or whatever it is you want to call them, these nodes, are very low, in all honesty. So I'm going to save my 35 AP for now, until I next decide that we need to purchase something. We're going to be heading over, as I say, towards the quest area, but there are, as I also said, a couple of the product placement was working on me. I actually said a cup of instead of couple of. It's getting into my head. A couple of side quests that we can do as well. So whether we'll actually rest at camp after doing them, because we're going to be so close to the quest giver, I'm not yet sure. But we'll see as we actually get them done. So we're just getting close now to approaching our first side quest destination area. And once again we're looking out for a broken down car. There it is. So I hadn't quite marked that perfectly. And we've just experienced one of these. We know what we're doing.
Thank goodness you're here. My car is stuck.
Make sure you have the repair kit to hand. And then speak to the guy and give it to him.
Thank you.
All in a day's work.
For another nice 300 experience. And just before we move on, actually, there's a couple of things I just want to sort out. I should have some pre-order weapons that we can equip. They're not terribly powerful, but they're good to start the game off with. The Masamune Blade is stronger than the starting two-hand sword. Look at that, gives us actually 50 power. And let me just have a look. I think we've got some good daggers. Yep, Mage Mashers, so we'll give those to Ignis since he's wielding daggers. We could give them to Noctis, but for the time being we won't. I'm just going to check if there's any other items that I have, but I think that's all of them. Okay. You can also give fire, or just magic spells by the way, to Gladiolus if you wish to do so. The other thing I want to do is just mention techniques. So techniques are the things that expend your technique bar, which I showed you earlier, and right now each of our 3 party members that use techniques all have their level 1 basic technique available to them. But we're going to spend some AP here to change Ignis's technique. Right now he's using Mark. If we head over to the techniques tree, we can see that Ignis can learn some new techniques, and what we are aiming for is this enhancement technique. It's something we're going to be using a lot throughout the game. and it basically exploits an enemy's weakness. Whatever element they're weak to, it enhances Noctis' weapon when you use it for a limited period of time in order to attack that enemy's vulnerability. It's very useful. We do have to learn regroup first, which is also a useful technique as well. But we'll go ahead and learn enhancement there. And then if we just head back over to Ignis, we can change his technique to either regroup, which is a nice heal. It brings everyone together and heals them back up. I don't think to full, but you know, for a nice amount of health. Or enhancement, which is what we're going to start leveling up here. So I'm going to select that. And we're going to start heading to our next destination. As I was running to our next side quest area, I came across this item here. It is marked on the map. These red items are generally more powerful items that you can loot, and often include weapons such as these Avengers here. So make sure you do pick those up when you see them. I'm just going to see how powerful they are. So 43, which you know isn't too bad. It's not as good as the Mage Mashers, which we have equipped. But then it's not too bad if you don't get that pre-order bonus for whatever reason. You know, maybe you didn't actually pre-order. That would be a pretty obvious answer, but other than that, those items are generally quite good. And you can pick ingredients up as well, which is this sort of yellow feather icon on the map there. Remember, this game is often about exploration, so not all the items are shown on your map, but go ahead and speak to various tipsters around the place at different diners, and they will give you more ideas of where you can actually go ahead and find things. So what we're heading for is a rescue quest, which is over in this location here that I've marked.
I don't think so.
And you'd know.
Not exactly hard to tell. A guard like hers doesn't come down easily.
Even to a Casanova like you?
Curious as I am.
They can be tricky to find if you don't know exactly what it is you're looking for.
Safe.
But I do fortunately think I've got some idea. So once you reach the general vicinity, then you should hear the person that you're supposed to be rescuing calling out for help. And that'll just let you know that they're very close to where you are. So we'll just grab these ingreds. Some laden peppers. And the person we're looking for is just around here. I believe perhaps in the middle of these containers. So we can hear them shouting for help, which means we know they're close. And there they are. You can also track these quests once they first shout you, but it does only give you a rough idea of where they're going to be located. And these quests, these rescue quests, will require either a potion or an antidote. So along with repair kits, make sure you always have potions and antidotes to hand.
Thank you so much. Ooh, that couldn't have gone any better.
And another cotton of experience there added to our total. Just try and get out of this place. I was hoping to grab that feather, but it looks like it's just out the way a touch. Okay, so this will lead us to an area which we're not ready to go to just yet. But we do want to grab these fungoirs while they're handy. And there's also a mineral deposit as well. But it looks like that's up above, or in that very dark place, which I don't want to go into just yet. So we're going to leave that for the time being. See if there's anything else around here to grab. One item over under the shelter. A redstone shard. So now you've got a choice. You can either take another detour in order to rest up. The nearest camp is over here. and have your experience tallied up in order to level up before taking on the next, or the first boss in fact, if you want to call it a boss, or we can just skip the detour and head straight there. I think we're going to take the chance. I think level 5 is somewhat sufficient, so we're going to head over to the quest marker now and take on the target. Make sure you save before you do. So we're just a few hundred feet away now, and the boss that we're going to fight is quite tough actually. He's got quite a lot of health. He's quite a large foe, so to speak. There's actually a way we can make it a little bit easier, because the boss himself is weak to the fire element, and there is a fire weapon, a fire imbued weapon that we can grab that will actually help to take him down. It's known as the Blade of Brenner, I think it's called, and I'm just going to get the exact location so we know where to get it from. It's an item that we can loot from the ground. It turns out it was a slight detour, but nothing major, so I do think it's worth it. And we're going to just skip that group for now and head straight for the item itself. In fact, I don't think we can skip that group because we're in their red circle, which is where the item's located. So we'll go ahead and take on these saber tusks here. I was hoping to use them as an excuse to show out the new weapon. Looks like that will have to wait for the time being. What we can try is Ignis's enhancements technique.
You ready?
He will imbue Noctis' weapon for us.
You're out!
So we've got two groups. Maybe we got the wrong enhancement off our pal there. Is that all of them? I don't think so, because the music's still playing.
You're on fire today!
I've got enough for another warp strike, but no more. So let's go ahead and increase that MP.
None the worse for wear.
So we'll go ahead now and grab the item. There we have it. We'll go ahead and equip it, since it's going to be no good otherwise. And it's actually more powerful even than our Masamune blade, which of course is Sephiroth's sword from Final Fantasy VII. So we'll give that to Gladiolus, who does like to use the great swords as well. And we have our fire imbued blade. So I'll just quickly grab the ingredients from over here. Some bird beast eggs. Sounds like something for breakfast. And we'll head back over to the quest area.
Over there! That's it, right?
Huh. That's a dual horn?
Yes, but not your run-of-the-mill breed. We'd best make quick work of it.
So here's our quest monster, and I've readily got our greatsword available.
Scared, big guy?
You ought to be too. Thing's vicious.
You sure? Looks tame to me.
Yeah.
Look out!
And here comes the battle.
Yeah!
Shamu's blast!
Nice one!
It's not over yet!
First things first, I'm just going to see. So I do get the icons confused from time to time that we've got fire equipped. We have. So since we're in wait mode, we can go ahead and use Libra. Now, boss enemies generally take, or larger enemies, a little bit longer to scan. But as long as you can do it within your wait timer, which as you can see, it's not going to be a problem, then everything should be okay. Okay, and it's actually orange that we want to attack rather than purple. I mentioned earlier that purple means weakness, but that was my mistake. I apologise, it's orange means weakness, since we can tell that the enemy here is weak to fire. That's what we want to exploit. So let's go ahead and enter battle. Or we could actually start by casting the fire spell.
Bring it!
Look at that, we actually almost one-shot it. Because we exploited this guy's weakness. That was one fast battle. See, it never hurts to be prepared. And that's all there was to it.
Ring, ring. Hello?
Hey, Dave just called and said he's safe. Thanks for finding him.
Okay.
Nice work, y'all. By the way, the old girl's looking good as new. She'll be waiting at the garage.
Gotcha.
And now we can actually go ahead.
Who's up next behind the wheel?
And get the regalia back. We are done.
It helps that he can keep
doing what
4 eyes on
Cindy
the
has
dash.
requested from us.
I couldn't even keep one.
Not sure I'd do any better.
Put me in the driver's seat.
Good. Because I need the legroom in back.
So all that's left now for this quest is to head back to Hammerhead and hopefully get our wheels back. But of course we can pick up items along the way.
It's rude to keep a girl waiting. You better apologize. What is that? A live hurricane. That thing's like half bird, half storm, half airship.
You realize that's 3 halves.
Will it explain its size?
Awesome in every sense.
So a bit of a distraction there as we make our way back to Hammerhead, but don't worry, there's nothing in terms of battle. Not at the moment anyway. It's no surprise that you do get the option to take that creature on a little bit later in the game. But sadly my food's just worn out. That gives me unlimited stamina. So it's back to trying to just keep the stamina trick going as we run all the way back here. And I'm so looking forward to getting in the car. It will be nice to actually be able to drive around. Something to do on the way back. You can't really play chicken in this game. The cars are always prepared to stop for you. One thing that's really grown on me as well is the soundtrack for this game.
Could really use a bath.
Yeah.
The music, I just find it's just amazing, really. Very good soundtrack. Okay, there's some songs that are, or some tracks that are a bit miss rather than hit, but overall it's a very epic score.
Gotcha.
And all we need to do is speak to Cindy, and we can see the car's looking shiny and new
Sorry
here.
about the wait. Ain't she purty?
She's almost too pretty for the road.
Some experience as expected.
She's back. We should all get a picture with her.
And our first group photo.
All
One
the
for the
more
album.
reason to ride with care. Oh, and before I forget, would y'all mind making a little delivery for me?
Right, so if we accept, we'll get 50 experience for the whole party, which is what I'm going to do here. But if you refuse, you get 2 AP.
No,
or
not
if you
at
ask your
all.
friends, 200
Perfect.
experience for Prompto
Say
alone.
yes. So I already put it in the trunk. There should be a motel on your way to Galden. If y'all wouldn't mind giving that to the owner, that'd be swell.
Grandpa like grandkid.
Now that she's all polished up and ready for the road, would you care to take her for a little test drive, Noct?
Sure, why not?
And I needn't remind you to exercise caution.
Basically, when Noctis is driving, it means that the car's in manual mode and you, the player, are doing the driving. Or you can select your destination and the car will go there automatically, and then Ignis will take over the driving responsibilities for you. So before we advance the actual main story and complete the errand prints, we're going to do one slight optional detour, which is another rescue. So we're going to head down to manual here.
You're not getting in the car like that. Clean it up, guys.
Don't want to get your dad's car dirty. Yeah, we get it.
And yes, you do actually have to put fuel in the car before you run out. And what we're actually going to head to is just to a location. I'm just going to try and get this right so that we don't end up getting lost here. I believe it's around there. I can't mark it on the map though while we're in the car, so we're just going to go manual and start driving. And you only have to actually hold down the accelerator button. The car will
Hammerhead is like no garage
turn on the
ever.
roads by itself, do the
know?
steering.
One would expect no less of purveyors to the crown.
Just want to make sure that we're not going to go
I'll
past
miss
that
it once this
destination.
road trip's
So
over
we do
with.
need to go down the next left
There's
turn.
no reason you can't pay them a visit anytime you please. I'm sure Cindy will be glad to look after your car. Oh, right.
So, that's what this is about.
If you need, I could always lend you the regalia.
Whoa!
Is anybody out there?
There we go.
Where's that coming from?
Oop, we just need to hop out.
Everybody
the right button
out.
would be helpful.
Aye, aye.
And we heard the cry for help. Just need to make sure that we actually find the person. And they're either on this side of the road or the other, but they are by a rock. So I'm guessing it's just on the other side actually. I do remember they're very close to the actual road itself. There they are.
You saved me. Thank you.
I'd call that a job well done.
And another 300 experience. Lovely. Now, we won't be able to drive at night time at the moment because of the demon, so we're going to quickly choose to head back to Hammerhead. You can go for auto fast travel if you wish to do so, but we'll take the ride in.
She's out of my league.
Seeing as how we are literally less than a minute
so much
away.
in common.
Who's the lucky imaginary
You can
lady?
also put the radio on
When
as
all
well.
this is over, I'm gonna visit her in Hammerhead.
And change the view. And we are on auto drive, so I'm not controlling this. And look at some of the soundtracks. You have the King's Glaive soundtrack, Final Fantasy 15 Brotherhood soundtrack, Justice Monsters 5, and also some of the original Final Fantasy soundtracks.
Why don't we sleep there?
They got something special?
A safe place to spend the night? The demons will be coming out any minute.
So we are going to call it a night here.
Yeah, whatever.
Ignis will park up for us.
You heard him, Ignis?
Yes, loud and clear.
And the reason we're going to sleep here is because we have got a nice amount of experience, and we could do with the 20% bonus from the caravan. But now that we've got a little bit more gear, we could probably stock up on a few more items first and foremost from the shop.
Shall we shop a bit?
Works for me.
We can purchase some optional stuff,
You coming or what?
including some more soundtracks.
Much appreciated. Thank you kindly.
And I'll quit out of that, but I did want to buy some more potions while we're here as well. Since 10 isn't going to get us very far at all. Let's go for another 10. Let's go for another 20. How much is that going to be? 1,000 gil, yes
Much
please.
appreciated.
And we'll be okay on antidotes. No, we'll buy a few more, just in case a few of the repair rescues even want to use them. And then how are we on repair kits? We've got 3, so let's go for another 7. That'll be 700 gil. And we'll just remember
Please
to get
come
some more
again.
before we run out.
Huh.
You can speak to Cindy if you want to customise the regalia, although we haven't got a whole lot of options with it at the moment. And we'll spend defend our 30
You ready to
gil.
rumble, Noct?
In King's Night?
Stay.
Oh yeah, I'm game.
In that case, I'll join you.
So look at all that lovely experience, which is going to get another 20% added on top of it as soon as we hit the next button. And we are now level 8.
Well taken.
Where's that group shot that we collected?
Damn, this is a really good shot.
I made sure I got the regalia's good side.
And now we're ready to go back to the regalia and make our way to the next rest area where we can complete the errand prince. But I think I'm going to finish things off here today, guys, because I've done this in all one sitting, 2 hours and 20 minutes. So I do need to, you know, go to the loo, get a drink, do all the stuff that humans need to do. You know, we're not all game characters like Noctis. Some of us have to actually take a rest. So thanks for joining me, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this first episode of our Final Fantasy 15 playthrough. And if you have, just hit that like button and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And don't forget as well, I've also done a whole bunch of other Final Fantasy walkthroughs which are completed and available for your viewing pleasure on the YouTube channel. And you might also be interested to know that if you want to support me, you can do so over on Patreon. And I've already got a couple of patrons over on there whom I super appreciate. So thanks to everybody who does support me in that way. But regardless of all that stuff, please do come back and join me for the next episode of this playthrough, which I'm not sure yet when that's going to be available, but I will get to work on it straight away. So thanks a lot, guys, and I'll see you soon. Take care.